We're back, Squeeze the Neck podcast, and look what I've got. Boo! My mate.
Louie the Reporter.
Bosh, thanks for doing this, mate.
Pleasure, bro.
We met recently. Well, first of all, before we get there, you saved the day today because some other good for nothing let me down. But I was in this part of the country. You make up your mind who it was. I'm not saying nothing.
You got a better guest as well.
There you go. That's what I was going to say. My mate, Louie the Reporter. So we got speaking recently at, I was going to say, the press conference, I think it was, initially for Right to Fight, which was in Lions Academy, I think it was.
Yeah,
boxing
that was
gym.
Lions, yeah.
If I'm wrong on the name, shoot me later. But we met and we was there obviously every day, weren't we? I got meetings talking to you and your dad, and I think I briefly met your sister as well, not with you, but in conversation. As I say, mate, tell us who you are, because before you do, actually, let me give some context to this, because you was on stage and you was like owning the room, basically, right? And it was one of them situations. I said this to you and your dad, didn't I? Where it was like, you're looking at it, I'm like, is this one of them geezers that's like 25 that just looks like a teenager? Or is he just really mature for his age? He was obviously one of the two. And then I spoke to you after 15 years old, man. You're not the youngest guest we've ever had. That goes to Marlo Jones, but you're pretty close. So tell us how you got into it and tell us what you do initially, mate.
Yeah, so I'm an interviewer, journalist, go around the country, mainly boxing, but it can be charity matches, football. Done a bit of bare knuckle recently. I've got September 27th. Got a bare knuckle show as well, but I actually got into it. Misfits, really, obviously the influencer stuff. Started to grow every show, but yeah, the first one, KSI Swarms and Pineda, I think that was. Started watching it from there. Then I got surprised, my dad and my sister. For my birthday, literally going to a show. The amount of people I met was insane. I just thought I need to get into this, and then, Parsons. He's a really good mate of mine. He's big in the boxing scene now, presenting for DAZN. He just helped me, and then now, I'm just doing it every
And I tell you what's mad is, like, for your 15, I said, right?
Yeah.
Was this your 15th birthday when you
No,
got
13th.
13th birthday, so you was a proper little boy at that point. But as I said, like I touched on it earlier when I said, like, amazingly sort of comfortable in that environment for someone your age, because I was going to say kids your age, but it's not all, and when I say kid, I don't mean it in a condescending way, you know what I'm saying, right? But like even grown men sometimes, they talk normal and then they get in front of a crowd and they're, hi, I'm Louie, you know what I mean? And like, you was up there, that's what was throwing me off, and why I was like, I got to talk to this kid after, because you're standing up there, there's grown men, there's eggs flying about, people are slapping each other and all sorts, and you're just like, this is what I do. And when I spoke to your dad was saying, like, you just took to it like a duck to water sort of thing, and you just this is for you, right? This is just what you want to do. Yeah,
well, to be fair, no one knew this. That was the first time. I didn't know I was actually going to be doing that in front of everyone. I thought it was just going to be cameras in a room, the fighters, me interviewing them, not like, what was it, like 30, 40 people in like a small cramped space.
And it was cramped too. It was one of them jobs where everyone was like, fucking move up a bit, like, just chill out.
One little push and everyone will be over. But that was the first time I'd done it. I think I'd done all right. There's a couple of things. I went back and watched it, I think 3-4 times.
Really?
Yeah,
well, I didn't pick it up. I wouldn't have noticed it. What were the 3 or 4 times? Or is it secret? You got to be secret?
No, it's just like going over things, what I'd say I can improve for next time.
Right, because you got up there and like it's not an easy thing to do it, as I said at the best of times, and you didn't know you was doing it either.
No, I knew I was doing the presser, but not like in that environment.
Yeah, but I mean, Radio Raheem was up there too. So for anyone who don't know what I'm talking about, check out Right to Fight's press conference, Molesey versus Matty Floyd, and you'll see my mate here front and centre. But like Radio Raheem's, like, I won't mention his age, he did tell me, but I think it might be a hush-hush. He's a young man. But like obviously grown man, do you know what I mean? He's been all over the world, got the famous interview with Deontay Wilder. So you'd expect him to be chill in that environment. But when you stepped up there, I mean most people might have known who you was. I was like, who's this like kid getting up there talking, and then you open your mouth, and as I said, it was the whole like, how old is this, blah blah blah. But when you started this, I mean, your dad told me a little bit of background, like he got you the t-shirt and whatever, and you wanted to rock and roll. But like, what was your background? Have you got a martial arts background or anything like that?
No, my family don't really watch boxing. Got a couple of cousins who does boxing, but not even like in that level. Just saw Misfits and thought I want to start it, and then. Yeah, just started it like that.
It's a bit mad, isn't it? It just come out of nowhere. It just shows you sometimes I think things are supposed to turn out the way they are. But like, obviously 15 still really young, but like you've got so much time. And you said earlier when you go to shows how many people you meet and stuff, which you do. For anyone who doesn't know, when you sort of in these and you're lucky enough to have access to sort of backstage areas and whatnot, you meet a million people, don't you? Like everyone's suddenly your new mate and whatnot. Like, do you get a lot of reaction because you're there for interviews anyway, right? You're not just mooching about.
Yeah, I'd say the average presenter or interview who goes to a show don't get as much love as me, obviously I'm thankful for that because of my age. But yeah, there's people coming up to me and saying, yes, Louie, stuff like that. And I can't remember who they are from shows and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's mad.
Yeah, I'll tell you what I'm like with that stuff. I'm terrible with names, but good with faces, which is even sometimes, you tell me if you experience this too. You know, you see someone, you know who they are,
Yeah.
and they come in, oh, hello to me, like, hello, Ollie, blah, blah, and I go, hello, mate, like, I know you are, but I can't place your name, like, I'm trying to wing it off. Do you deal with that as well?
Yeah.
Because you've had big ones, right? Like, I've seen videos of you with Eddie Hearn, Frank Warren, all sorts and stuff like that. How do they come about?
Actually, I wanted to give a shout out to Goodman Boxing.
Shout out Gunman, yeah. I'm hunting you down. You're coming on here one day, mate.
Yeah,
Wesley,
so
I think's your name, right? Wesley.
Yeah. So what happened was, obviously, I was doing the Influence and Misfit stuff. This was more January, February time, I'd say. I wanted to get into pro, but obviously, as everyone knows, or if you're not in the scene, you won't know, but it is really hard to get into, and it'll take a year or two to actually get the accreditation. But I wanted to get into it. I didn't know. Gunman said, I'll give you free Gunman clothing if you just wear the clothing, be in collaboration with me, and you can cover some shows I can't get to. Even the ones I can, if I can get 2 media accreditations, you can actually cover it with me. And then, yeah, from then I got an interview, Ben Shalom, Frank Warren, Eddie Hearn, Fraser Clark. He remembered me as well. Ben Whitaker remembered like it's crazy.
Well, I think that's the advantage of being the age you are, because everyone's going to remember you.
Yeah.
Right? I tell you, one of the things I get, not other ones, obviously, we spoke about this in the car on the way here, like certain, like when it's pure boxing, I get recognised by certain people because of my ears. I've got the cauliflowers, right?
Yeah.
So like when I turn up, people don't remember me, they remember the ear, right? Whereas like for you, they're going to know Louie the Reporter, young kid, like everyone's a grown man, how are you in it sort of thing, innit? But like with these big shows that go on, and they are big shows, usually things to do with Usyk and Dubois and all sorts and stuff like that. But you're still at school, right? So like, how does that work? Do you have to take time off of school, or you just wait until you finish school where it's like this?
Yeah, no. So a lot of people don't actually know this. So
have I outed you? Have I outed you that you're still at school? Is that a secret?
It's a good thing you actually said it, because I also want to say shout out to, obviously I'm not going to say their names, but my teachers. So speaking to a couple of other interviewers who were, when they're my age, they were doing it not as consistently. They weren't allowed to leave school or do anything like that. But with mine, if I show proof of the email and I'm actually going, and just a lot of proof that I'm doing it, they actually allow me to leave school, which, I mean, it's fair. When I showed the teacher about Usyk Dubois press conference, like, they can't say no to that.
No, well, I mean, some would though. There's some
there's
a
lot of schools out there who won't let me.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm just blessed that my school lets me take time off to interview, and I think I've been on the Facebook like 10 times now on their school Facebook.
And you said here you're going into year 11, like we're in the 6th of now.
Yeah,
You're
I've
going
got
into year 11.
1 year left.
And then it's what? Louie the Reporter goes worldwide. Because that's your next step, right?
Yeah.
America, I was going to say America's the big one, but nowadays that might change a bit with Saudi, right? Saudi might be the big one.
Yeah, I'm actually going in December.
To Saudi?
No, Dubai.
Dubai, okay.
Ricky Hatton's return.
Oh, you're going to that one. And how's that work? How'd you get into that?
Frankie Morgan, someone else as well, FM Boxing Media, shout out to them. I think he's friends with Ricky and his team and stuff like that, and he was going and he said, do you want to come with me? And obviously I can't turn that down.
No, absolutely not. Yeah, no, I'm busy that day.
But yeah, obviously I'm going with him. Yeah, it's going to be mad.
And like, I'm available that day, like if you need someone to carry the bags, if the bags are too heavy. Yo, hook squeeze the neck up, what's the matter with you? What's his name, Frankie?
Frankie Morgan.
Frankie Morgan, where you at, bro? What's going on? No, but jokes aside, like that for you is going to be a mad experience, obviously, right? Going to Dubai to these big fights. We spoke briefly, again, I keep referencing the car on the way here, but like we had a good chat on the way in about sort of the future, if you like. Not that we're Mystic Meg or anything, but like you could be literally in this game for the next 60 years plus if you want to, right? So like, have you got specific plans you want to get to, like with these big shows, or do you just want to be the guy that's at all these shows?
No, I think I want to get to the position as in, I know I mentioned before, Parsons, in where he's working and presenting for DAZN, doing pro shows and Misfits, and he's getting content for his own channel, The Stomping Ground. Like, it's crazy. Like, he can work for himself, but also work for them. And yeah, it's just, I want to get to that position. I do want to be in the zone though. That's a goal I want to be.
Mate, you want to be bigger than the zone. Louie the Reporter is a bigger channel than the zone in the future. I'm telling you, the zone, you know, they're all right? I mean, they're only the biggest one in the world at the moment. You can overtake them, bro. But like, if you get out to Dubai and stuff like that, so as an example, forget Dubai as an individual thing, but like, if you're at a fight show now, do you have plans of that, or did you just sort of mooch about and be like, oh, let's get an interview?
No, I just go with it. Obviously, before I do research and have a look who's going to be there, potential special guests as well, because that's a big one at fight nights. But I just go with it when I'm there, because anyone could pop up.
Right.
Like at Ben Whittaker, Liam Cameron too. Who was it now? Rashford was next to me, speaking to him. I couldn't get an interview, obviously, with everyone swarming him, but anyone can pop up anywhere, so I'll just be prepared for it.
Well, again, like what I was saying to you, like, my personality is not great for sort of interviews. I find no, I shouldn't say that, but like it's not my bag basically, right? I'm standing there, I don't sort of, but you like that's your thing, innit? Do you know what I mean? That's natural. So if you're at a fight show, and like you've had the big ones already, I was going to say it was big ones that are about like Eddie Hearn, Frank Warren's and stuff like this, but how does it work? Are they sort of like willing to give their time, or do you have to sort of chase them down and like the third or fourth time they go, oh, fucking hell, all right, Louis, go on.
No, so I'll go through it. So with Ben, I'd say it's quite easy to get an interview with on fight week. Frank, obviously, he's a lot harder.
Is he?
Yeah, he's just super busy.
Right.
Maybe 2-3 minutes you can get with him max. But Eddie, I'd say, gives the most time up. Like with, what one was it now? I think it was Galauye 5, Rodriguez. He was there for like 4 or 5 hours just doing purely interviews. The only break was the press conference, and that is doing his job, and then 5 hours of interviews. But he kind of has to because he's promoting it. But then realistically, like, he could just say no for it to a couple of them. But every single person, don't matter whether you've got 10 followers and you're just starting out, or obviously your IFL, he does it to anyone and takes the most time out of anyone.
That's good, isn't it?
Well,
That's nice. That's nice to hear, because like for anyone who hasn't been in them rooms, not that I'm trying to puff my chest out and be like I've been in one, but like when you're in, they are draining, aren't they? Like they can be draining. Like they do sap your energy if you're talking to too many people. There's a lot going on. You've got top fighters on the fucking thing giving their thing, and everyone, you know what it's like. As soon as someone goes up, you've got from going from having a good view to suddenly there's 17 iPhones in front of your face that people are trying. So you're like, that's a stress, isn't it? You know what I mean? And people with tripods are always arguing with someone and whatnot. So again, going back to what I like with me with the podcast, I kind of just float about in them rooms and try and take it easy. Do you know what I mean? I might chat to people and whatnot. But like, does it stress you out, or is this just like a novelty to you? Everything's good?
No, I got used to it. At the start, it was all hectic. Like, with loads of tripods everywhere, everyone shouting the fighter's name. But now it's just normal. It's just like,
already comfortable in a room at 15. So like, I mean, if we sit down in 20 years' time, hopefully I'm still around in 20 years' time, but you're still a relatively young man in 20 years' time, which is quite funny. But like, are you going to be, in your mind, are you going to be the face of this? Are you going to be Louie the Reporter? Everyone's like, fucking hell, it's Louie. Louie's here, Louie's here.
I do think so.
Yeah.
But I saw something this morning as well, and it was true. I think it was Eddie who actually said it on Derek Chisora, and someone else had a podcast. It was like, to be in this job, you need to be a bit delusional. Like, yeah, and I make goals what most people say is not going to happen, but I just work towards that.
Don't worry about it. Listen, anyone's telling a 15-year-old boy a certain goal's not going to happen is a fucking div anyway. Do you know what I mean? Take no notice of them. Like 15, you can do anything, can't you? Like, you've got enough time. It's not like you're 50. Do you know what I mean? And they're saying, yeah, you might not be a professional footballer anymore. Do you know what I mean? At 15, fucking hell. Who? I mean, out them. Who says that? Give names.
Just people.
Just
TikTok
people in general, right? I thought you were going to go Eddie Hearn. Let's all shit on Eddie. Cheers, mate. Yeah. Thank you. Don't worry about it, mate. Just bang it in. Thank you.
I'll go and
cheers. Thank you, mate. Cheers. We're in. We're in.
Any other sauces?
That's all right, mate. Thank you very much.
Cheers.
We're in. Live and coming to you. If we chew into the mic, you just have to deal with it. Is what it is, isn't it? But I forget who it was. Thanks a lot, mate. Cheers.
Cheers.
That's me, mate. Thank you. Protein shake for the meathead over there with the muscles. Thank you very much, mate.
Cheers.
Bosh, nice. So, if we go to sort of Dubai, not me, obviously, you're in Dubai for the Ricky Hatton thing, which is quite, it's not, I don't want to say like a novelty, like I'm talking down about it, but like a legend's coming back, right? He's not fighting for a world title, but he's fighting, I believe it's the first guy from that region who turned pro, so that's why they're fighting, right? Yeah. I don't know an awful lot about it outside of that. What's going on with that show?
I'd never heard the promotion. I don't think a lot of people really have, but it's just, I don't know, it's just a promotion come out of nowhere, really, putting the fight on, and
And this is not to do with Turkey El Sheikh and like that kind of Riyadh
I don't
season?
think so, no. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't actually think
Right.
it's to do with him. It's just a promotion's putting it on. And yeah, I like the fight because Ricky, he's still got that, you know what I mean? He's still got that fighting and that dog in him.
Well, what I like about the fight as well is the guy's the same age as Ricky, isn't he?
Oh, is it?
I think they're both 46.
Oh,
So
okay.
it's not like he's coming back and fighting some up and coming, I don't know, 28-year-old
Yeah.
who's like trying to pop him off. I think the guy's 8-3 as a pro. So from the outside, without knowing anything about the fella, good luck to him, but looks like a good fight for Ricky,
Yeah.
doesn't it? Do you know what I mean? Fighting another 46-year-old who's got limited experience. When Ricky Hatton, you're too young to have seen him fight live, right, at the time.
No,
I'm
no,
sure
I've
you've
never
seen.
saw it.
But have you seen his tapes, or are you completely?
No,
oblivious?
I've watched it back, yeah.
But like obviously, like I was watching him like at the time when he was fighting like your Mayweathers and your Pacquiaos and whatnot, and like to see him coming back. When I first heard it, I didn't have the context of it. Like I just said, like the guy's the same age and whatever. I just saw he was coming back, and I was like, ooh. And it was a middleweight. I was like, ooh, I don't know about that. But listen, if he's fighting someone like that, I'm all for it. I think it'd be. I like we was there when Shane Mosley fought, right?
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean? And like. For 53 years old, Shane Mosley can still fight, man. You know what I mean? Like it's fun for me. I think I'm all for it if it's in the right context. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course. I mean, it'll be a good fight. Obviously, now I didn't actually know that he was going to be his age, so now I know that, then it's going to be better.
Yeah, and how does that work? You've got like ringside access and all that kind of shit for the fight.
I've never actually been abroad for a fight night, but it's going to be near the ring. It's going to be a good spot, yeah. But
yeah, they're not going to.
I just want to go there for it. Even if I never had media, just the experience of going out there.
You're in Dubai anyway, aren't you?
Yeah.
And I'm assuming it'll be similar to how we met. It's like you got the week, the lead up, the weigh-ins, all that kind of shit, right?
Yeah, because I'm saying here now, obviously I'm used to being in front of the camera, but I wonder how it'll be in front of the camera in a different country doing interviews. So that's what I want to experience
Be the
as
same,
well.
mate. You'll be inside, it'll be all right. You aircon on and you'll be cool as him. Tuck in, mate. Let's do this. But with Ricky Hatton, I'll tell you what's interesting with Ricky Hatton, because over the years we've seen him go through ups and downs. He's been open about it, right? He spoke about like things he's been through and whatnot without getting into detail. But I want to see what he looks like, because he did an exhibition with Marco Antonio Barrera, right?
Yeah.
Now, he looked good in terms of his movement and stuff, but he looked like, let's be real, Rick, he looked like he was carrying a bit of a spare tyre. But like, this is a real fight from what I understand, right? This is not an exhibition or anything like that. They're actually fighting, right?
No, it's a real fight.
That's what I'm saying. So and he's fighting a middleweight, which is obviously quite a few divisions above his prime. But it'd be interesting to see what he looks like. But is there any other fights on that card of note, or do you not know much about it?
I don't think much is announced, but there is other fights on the card. Mm-hmm. There is definitely 100%.
But who's the best interview you've had so far? Because the reason I asked that like that is because Ricky Hatton, I think, he's in fight week, so it might be a bit not the best, but he'd be a fun one to interview, wouldn't he?
Yeah. In terms of interviews, I think he'd actually match it. I think boxing interviews, I'd say the best one I've had is Frank. But outside of boxing, just in general, Peter Ranje was big as well. I've mentioned that to you.
Did you get him to sing?
No, I didn't, no.
You got to give him the old mysterious go and see what
I
comes
spoke
of it.
about his new little movie as well.
Oh, has he got a new movie? What's he doing?
Yeah. He was playing a Jamaican man, so he got a lot of stick for it, so I mentioned that. But yeah, it was good.
Why is he getting stick? Because he's not Jamaican, he's Greek.
Yeah.
Right. He's Greek-Australian, I think, and he like... people are going to slaughter me. Of course he's Greek-Australian, but or he ain't Greek-Australian. But Peter Andre is like... Okay, now, how old is Peter Andre now? Because he was like...
Got to be in his 40s.
Oh, more than that. Because he was like pre my time. Like when I was a really young kid, he was on the radio. Like, but I'm only 25. Do you know what I'm saying? So like, I don't know why you're laughing, bro. Why are you laughing for? No. Yeah, I would imagine he's got to be in his 50s, Peter Andre. He probably had a bit of work done and looks good, doesn't he? But he's... if I'm wrong, Pete, and I'm aging you, my bad. But he's not fighting or anything like that, is he?
No, he's not fighting. I mean, for the right amount of money, I'm sure he'll get in there. But he's not. He's not fighting. I did speak to his son as well, and his daughter. I'm pretty sure as well. Yeah, they're all related. Princess. She said she might fight. So that'll be big.
Jesus Christ, yeah. Wow. Okay. She's okay. But what was the interview with Peter for? Was it just
No,
around
so just shout out to Goals for Gosh as well. Gave me media. Literally just a charity match. Junior was playing. Princess and obviously Peter
football
was just there to support him. Yeah.
Right, because you do football as well, which I want to talk about, because you've got your own charity day coming up.
Yeah, 17th of August, Highgate United.
17. Okay, cool. We get that out before, because this would have come out after that, so we get this out a bit lively, so it shoots in. But where is it, mate?
Highgate United,
Which
FC.
is In Birmingham?
Birmingham, yeah.
Cool, because Highgate, when you said Highgate, I thought North London, but no, so Highgate, there's a Highgate in Birmingham as well, is there? And what's going off there, mate?
It's a weird mix. I'm trying to... Sorry.
That's all right, mate. It's what we do. We're live.
Yeah, so
we was in two minds whether to eat before, and we thought, fuck it, because they told us it'd be a long waiting time, so I thought, fuck it, let's order it, and then, hey.
No, so I'm
we'll
trying to shout out Jay as well, from Brumlife. I'm trying to target different kind of audiences. So we've got Married at First Sight stars, so that's more the older age group.
Okay.
Love Islanders, I'd say that's teens, older as well. Then obviously we've got Misfits fighters. Who else? We got actors as well.
Okay. Who's the fighters on there? Who you got Misfits?
Idris Virgo, profile on Misfits. Afghan Dan, 41.
Great name. I don't know who he is. But
who else have we got? We got Messiah Pinder. He was also on Love Island, but he's also a Misfits fighter.
Okay.
Fought Wade. It was a great fight. Ben Knights fought on Misfits. I think he'll be back on there soon. Got a couple others as well, I think. Got Ginge from Shardend. He's a great fighter as well.
I saw you do an interview. I think it was you with Curtis Pritchard. Did you do one with him?
Yeah.
Is he playing or is he not? He's not
He's
involved?
busy on the day.
Right, because I tell you the reason I'm trying to get him on the podcast. So shout out Curtis if this finds you, mate. His coach Greg. Fuck, I forgot your surname. Do you know what I'm talking about? Greg.
I spoke to Greg. Yeah.
Greg. So I've trained with Greg a bit. He's been on the podcast. Great coach. Blah blah blah. We spoke about the hookup and whatnot. Fuck, I forgot. Greg White. Jesus Christ, I forgot his name. I remembered it and then forgot it. That's what it was, Greg. But he's a great guy, good people, so it'd be interesting to get him on. How do you go about do you hunt guests out or do you just turn up at shows and do your thing?
No, so depends. So like for the Misfit stuff, because I've been going for so long, I know who's going to be there. I know the likelihood of me getting interviews with people. And just go up to them. And most of them know me, obviously, unless there's new fighters, but that's what I try to do as well. No one steal this off me. When there's like a new card announced, I try to go to the gym before the fight because not only will I know the fighter, but the trainer as well and stuff.
I think that's a big one, the trainers, right?
Yeah.
Because one thing I've had feedback since I've been doing this podcast, people like to hear from the trainer as well. They like all that kind of like background noise, if you like, because a lot of people that have never fought, they've got a perception of what it's like around the game that's not real. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you haven't fought yourself, right? But
No.
You've been around a load of shows, so when you're up close in them shows, it's very different in it. And when a boxing match or whatever kind of fight is going off in front of you, I think people don't realise it's a different experience, isn't it? When you watch it on TV, you might as well be watching tennis. In some ways, do you know what I mean? It's kind of, you don't get the sense of it. But when you're there, and then do you do post-fight interviews with people as well?
Yeah.
Yeah, what's that like? Because you've got to be careful with that one in terms of like, if someone's just been beat, they're not in the best of moods, so they're not going to be the best interview, right?
Yeah, it decides also on like the person as well. But yeah, most of them like to give them, and that's like a good thing from them. Because even though they've lost, they're probably annoyed, they're probably frustrated. They're still giving interviews and stuff, which is good. But yeah.
Are you going to be on Sky and stuff later down the road? Do you want that sort of gig? You know, where you get in the ring straight after someone's had a fight and be like, "You sick? Tell us about your performance."
Yeah, like I think his name's Jamie. I forgot his last name. He does it for Matchroom, and
right.
The job he does, I like it. I like how he's in the ring. Obviously, after a massive fight, he's just there in the ring, speak to the fighters. So yeah. Because
I didn't interview fighters or anything, but I was in the ring, as I'm sure you were, with Shane Mosley and Matty Flood, and it's like, I tell you what's funny about that. So like, I've been in a ring, obviously I've fought before, but not in a crowd like that or whatnot. But the action has gone on in the ring. The whole crowd sort of disappears, doesn't it? Now I find that kind of I don't interview people, but for you, does that make things easier? Does that make things kind of like you find like the fighters sort of chill out a little bit because the crowd's kind of, it's like a lull, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? Like everything sort of simmers down a bit. Or do you not even think about that?
A bit, yeah. I'd say because the crowd isn't there, they just zone out a bit.
They're a bit more with you, is what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah, it's like a personal conversation instead of like a conversation in front of a couple hundred people.
Crowds do funny things to people, right? And like fighters say silly things on camera, right? And it's not necessarily their fault. Like no names, but certain guys have been knocked out and they get a fucking mic shoved in their face, and then they repeat themselves, which is always quite hard. I would imagine for the interview, you're a bit like, you just said that. You know what I mean? You said that again. But there was a famous one, I won't mention it. If you're a fan of UK boxing, you probably know what I'm talking about. There was a famous one where he got knocked out and he kept repeating himself. But I don't think the interviewer did himself any favours. The interviewer kind of just like asked him again. And it's like, bro, give him a break. Firstly, he's just been chinned. And
Yeah.
secondly, you're letting him answer the same question again and sort of, you're not helping him out. Do you know what I mean? There's a way to get people out of it, which I thought, I saw you do, I can't remember who it was, but that night, I forget which fighter it was. He'd won, but I could see him repeat a little bit, and I was kind of clocking you, not watching you, but you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm sort of aware of you, and it seemed like you were steering him away from things like that. Is that conscious, or you just have a chat?
Have a chat as well, but I also think for the viewers, like, they don't want to just be watching and it's just boring. So, because after a fight as well, you want to be the first to post the interview, and you want it to be the most interesting.
Do you jump in? Are you quite aware of, like, out the way, mate? I'm straight in.
At first, I was getting barged out the way and stuff.
Was ya?
Like, yeah, like people are just jumping in. People are taking 15 minutes on an interview. Like, it's mad. But yeah, now I'm aware now that I need to be first.
Well, I'll tell you what's interesting is, again, like the first day I saw you, there's interviewers there, and again, that room, we're not exaggerating, we're fucking tight, wasn't it? Like, there was people everywhere, it was hot in there, people was all on. But some people were like jumping in the way of fighters, and I'm a bit like, bro, like, chill out a little bit, right? Whereas the egg slap thing, which was the famous thing, like, everyone would have seen that if you're watching this kind of stuff, right? Of what happened. But God, I don't know if you've seen the video. There's someone like dangling a mic behind. I'm like, mate, chill out a little bit. I don't know who you are, the mic dangler, but fucking get out of the way,
I do,
bro.
but I'm not.
Oh, you do? Go on, out him. Who was it? Who was the mic dangler? I was like, come on, man, have some fucking decorum. But all in all, them things are fun, aren't they? But at the same time, I think with the rise of this sort of misfit, and we put like all of it under the misfits umbrella, right? Because they're similar. But I feel like we've all seen fights on certain shows, and again, no names, because I think ultimately they're all trying to do their best. But there's some mismatches on them shows, isn't there? Do you know what I mean? And there's some guys in there that can box a bit, or can box a lot, or have got a background in like a certain level of boxing. Some really high actually as well. Again, no names. But there's some of their opponents can't box to save their life. And it's not to be, I'm not mentioning names, so we're not trying to dig them out. But you've got to be careful with that, right? Because this could go seriously wrong, and then they get there and they get an interview with you and they say something outrageous. It's not your fault, you're interviewing them, but then like, you see where I'm coming from? Like, they could backlash and you have to go, oh, you interviewed me and whatever. Yeah, but I'm assuming you who cares, right? Is that something that even enters your mind?
No, not really, but if you actually, because a lot of people it just goes over their head, but if you actually watch a white collar show or licensed, and not studied, but you know what I mean, watched it properly, you'd see the amount of mismatches there is. Like, it is crazy. Like,
and that's nowadays. Like, back in the day, I spoke about this with Danny McLaren, who runs DKM. Shout out, Danny, hope you're well, mate. And he was very aware of that, and that was one of the big things he was saying about, check out the episode, don't take my word for it. But he was very aware of that, and very sort of like, he wanted to make sure there was proper matches and whatever. Because, to me, anyone who gets in there, who's got, as an example, an extensive background in amateur boxing, or pro, or whatever, and they get in there and they want to fight someone who's had 4 white-collar bouts, firstly, you're a raging fucking coward, aren't you, like, for doing it. But to me, there should be something in place to stop that shit happening. You can't have that. It's dangerous, isn't it? Because clues in the name, a lot of it's called unlicensed, right? So you don't have to go through the same sanctioning things you would, even as an amateur. Like, not that extensive as an amateur, but as a pro, you've got to go through fucking a lot to get a license. Whereas in these shows, if you don't go through that, the whole thing could kind of come collapsing down, couldn't it? And then, like, people like yourself, what do you do there? Do you just, like, again, you're 15, so I'm sticking a lot of questions at you, but it's like, I'm assuming you don't worry about it, but does your future ultimately, like, do you want it to be in the pro game?
I'd say a mix of misfits and the pro.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, I'm still kind of deciding. Like, do I want to focus more on pro? Say if there was dates where it was misfits and pro shows on the same day, which one would I go to? And
who's paying more, bro? Which one's paying more?
But yeah, because I'm a fan as well, so
right,
it's like,
of course you are.
Sounds weird, but there's sometimes where there's shows on a day where if I can get paid more at one, but I'm a fan more of the other one, I'll just go to the one I'm a fan more, because I'm also doing this as a fan, so like I enjoy watching these fights. Like there's some people out there, this isn't at anyone directly, but who do this just for the money and stuff. But I actually I was watching boxing before I even started this. And
Mate, wait till you've got a big 6-bedroom house with a swimming pool at the back. You'll go, who's paying more? That swimming pool don't heat itself. But yeah, no, I think ultimately that's got to be the best way to go in it in terms of longevity. And you're obviously not in a rush. You've got all the time in the world, really. But who's the best person you've had to interview so far? You said it was like Frank Warren. But the reason I ask again is because it's more like, there's more from sort of like, if me and you have an interview and I'm Frank Warren, like I know we look similar, but like me and Frank, I'm Frank Warren, right? I give you a good interview now, but there's certain people like, I'm sure you've met and I've seen you interview people multiple times that you sort of build that relationship with, that you sort of bounce on again and again. And the first interview, even though the first interview might not be like knock your socks off, but by the time you spoke to them the fourth or fifth time, they know you now, right? And I've experienced a little bit of that, like not with interviews, but just from speaking to people, trying to get them on a podcast, asking them, and they want to, but then they change their mind and they're busy and whatever. And then by the time you speak to them the 6th or 7th time, I'm not even hunting them anymore. I'm not even asking them, but then suddenly they become keen.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? Do you
You
get
deserve
that?
it.
Do you get that
Yeah.
kind of like?
yeah, there's a
bounce
couple
back?
people out there. Someone who recently, actually, this happened with Curtis Pritchard, who he was on about. The first time I interviewed him was at KSI vs Dylan Dennis launch press conference. Can't even remember how long ago. I think that was in January. But I saw him there. I interviewed him for the first time. We was already kind of friends there, even after one interview. The second time was after his fight. Him and Ekinsu actually was together, and I interviewed both of them. Then the third time was obviously at this press conference. And like the third time isn't even that much, but he just seemed like we was mates. So
Right.
like we was just like laughing together and making jokes and stuff. So that was probably, yeah.
That's cool. So I've got to get him on the podcast now because
Yeah.
like, I don't know him at all. So I'm gonna make a silly joke, but I don't know him. I only know his coach committee. But I was gonna go, fucking hell, come on, man, let's go. But no. Anyway, with this Ricky Hatton thing like that, how does that work? You obviously, I'm assuming you're not going by yourself, right? They got to pay for your family to go out there, haven't they?
No, so I'm going with obviously Frankie.
Oh, are
It's
ya?
just me and him.
Whoa, yeah,
I
you're the
think
man
there's
now.
a couple of us as friends, but
That's cool.
yeah, we've got to get the permission slip from our
Yeah,
parents.
you got to get your permission slip. Boys on tour, what goes on tour stays on tour. Although that part of the world, I guess you can't get too crazy.
Not in
right?
Dubai.
Yeah, I was going to say you can't get too crazy. If it was Saudi, it'd be even more strict, right? But like Dubai, maybe you can get loose. I don't know. But what goes on tour stays on tour, as I said. With like these upcoming events in the UK, there's like, you know, we've got your DKMs, your Right to Fight, who we've mentioned, and we've seen each other at before and stuff like that. They're coming thick and fast now, aren't they?
Yeah.
Like the growth of that, I guess. You get crossovers, right? Because DKM, James DeGale was supposed to be fighting on there, etc. Like, is there sort of a... Because I tell you why I ask what I'm about to ask. When back in the day, I don't know what it's like now, but if you was like pro boxing and you was at like a white collar, unlicensed, whatever you want to call it, type of
Yeah.
show, influencer boxing, I guess you'd call it now. It was like you couldn't do that. They'd like take your license away and shit like that. Are them days still going? And even if they're not, does that affect? I guess that doesn't affect you, right? Doesn't come into play.
So like it's alright.
Then, like, if you're so you want to go to the pro shows,
Yeah.
but you do a lot of this white collar sort of scene, that doesn't affect you. They don't
No,
sort of
no,
blackball you from that.
Potentially a couple of years ago, but no, at the moment I think it's just all right.
It's
There's
all
no,
right, and you can.
yeah,
It
yeah.
should, I guess it should be right. They're not really encroaching on each other's territory, are they? And I tell you what, I mentioned James DeGale. James DeGale was obviously a world champion pro boxer, like, but if you don't want to fight pro anymore because you don't want to fight at that level, you don't want to dedicate your life to it in the same sort of way. It's a cool outlet, isn't it? And I'll
Yeah.
tell you what's interesting, because obviously Shane Mosley fell under that banner and Matty Floyd that we saw. They seem like they're almost, I don't want to say on holiday, but I'm going to say on holiday. Do you know what I mean? So I wonder if that makes them more approachable, because we saw Shane Mosley, who has fought some of the biggest killers in the sport. I'm assuming when he was in his, you know, fighting in the MGM Grand in Vegas, like, stress is on, innit? Do you know what I mean? But like, we saw him get out of a car.
Yeah, they have more fun.
That's what I'm saying. He slowly
Yeah.
walked over, didn't he? Very approachable. I think he spoke to about 20 people on his way into the building. Seemed like he didn't have a care in the world. I don't know whether that just comes with maturity or whether that comes with a show. But do you notice a difference when you're interviewing people at different shows? Is there a different vibe?
Yeah, I'd say not even just with pro fighters, as we said about Shane. Like Darren Till, UFC, massive fighter. He's came over to Misfits. He just seems more, I don't know, it's just something about him, but more approachable for an interview. He's happier round Misfits compared to what he is at UFC. He can have banter with a crowd as well. When I was at the press conference, he was laughing with the Misfits crowd. I'm not saying he can't do that with the UFC, but he just seemed better with us.
Do you reckon that's because of money? Do you reckon he's getting paid more and he's just like,
Potentially,
whatever? He's like, I
that's
don't
what he's
care.
come over, potentially.
Well,
But
I'll tell you one thing that's interesting about Darren Till, which I think, from listening to him speak, is probably a big part of it, is like, he's used to being in the UFC, right? Fighting at the highest level, getting kicked, punched, elbowed, choked, all that kind of stuff. I think he sees this a little bit like, this not easy is the wrong word, but you know what I'm saying? Like, this is like almost, like I said earlier, a holiday, because I've got so much less to worry about. He's probably getting paid multiple times more than he used to. And I guess for like people like yourself to be around, that makes things a lot easier, doesn't it?
yeah, he said to Luke Rockhold on the press conference, this is a circus, get used to it.
He did say that.
He's had 3 main events this well. It's going to be his 3rd main event this year.
Right.
Misfits only had 3 events, so all of them. And he's used to it now. He's dealt with the beef in the press conference. Not the fake beef, but you know what I mean, putting it on for the pay-per-view.
Right.
And he understands the whole influencer game now. So, yeah, I'd say for me, it stands out with the fighters who come over.
Have you interviewed, and you don't have to mention names, I'm not going to ask you names for this one, but have you interviewed people where you go, this guy's a dick, I don't like this guy?
Not that I don't like them, I just think that they're a bit boring.
Right, boring's got to be tough, isn't it? Like, do you get the yes or no answers?
Yeah.
Well, I had in a podcast early on, make your mind up who it was, you watch it back. There was one, and I'm sitting there, and like we're sitting across like you were, and chatting away, and he went, yeah. All right, quite a bit strange. I went, blah, 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 whatever. He went, maybe. You know when you go, you're taking a fucking piss out of me or what? What's going on here? Like, do you know what I mean? And then it went on a bit, and he kind of loosened up a bit. No names, you make your own mind up which one it was, watch them back. But it was like, it become like fucking effort. And I was like, Jesus. And this was quite early on in the podcast. I thought, maybe I won't do this podcast shit. But like, have you obviously experienced that? Because you said boring to me. Like, do you find there's a certain time after fights or something? Or is it just the person?
Yeah, most of the time it's not like that, but there's just the odd couple where it's just like, yeah. No, just like, basic answers.
Do you have a technique for it? You got the mic in your head. Do you ever go like that? Donk, liven up a bit, mate.
No, but I try to ask more questions what will get them going. Because like,
go on, give me an example. Let's role play now. We're doing an interview. Go on, you're interviewing me. I've just had a fight.
Just like, let's say John Fury. You're not John Fury, but let's say how can I put this into terms? Let's say you're KSI and you're just being super boring. I say, well, John Fury called you this and this and this.
Right.
What you got to say to
Okay.
him slandering you in public?
Nothing.
If you got nothing to say, John Fury's 50 years old, he wants to fight. What would you do to John Fury if you saw him in person?
Don't know. Because they're out there, them people,
Yeah.
aren't they? They are out there. But let's role play now. You've interviewed me. I'm not John Fury. I'm not KSI. Go, talk to me.
What, me interviewing
Yeah,
you?
you're interviewing me. Go on. I've just fought and I've won by 3rd round knockout.
Okay, you won by 3rd round knockout. It was a great performance. To all the fans that supported you, bought the pay-per-view and are here live in attendance, what have you got to say to them?
Thanks.
Thanks. Have you not got a special message to them who spent their hard-earned money to come and watch you fight tonight?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, and out of 10, what do you rate your performance?
You're good, bro. I'll give you that. You're good. You're good. Because I was trying to be extra awkward there, and you still carry on with the conversation, which is brilliant. Because obviously, no one's going to be as fucking ridiculous as I just was. But like, you got a way around it, didn't you? Which is, to me, this is the age you are. This is a gift, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? Like, in terms of, I don't want to sound like a hippie. I always say this on there. I don't want to sound like a hippie, but like, for you to be able to talk right, and especially, let's be honest, listen, it's not easy sometimes to talk to a grown man if they're in an arsey mood. Like, if I'm sitting there going, yeah, no, whatever, and you don't even miss a beat and you carry on. So, like, listen, man, we're going to do this again at some point. We're going to sit down, like, when you're 18, when you're 22, all that kind of stuff, and see the development of it, by which point I'm hoping you fly me first class to Dubai to join you on one of your shows that you put on yourself. When I say you shows yourself, you're putting on your own, we touched on it earlier, we spoke, but this is your own charity thing, right? So,
Yeah,
like, how
so-
did this come about?
Jay from Brub Life, again, shout out to him. He literally called me because we've done it, not events, but together we've got Veem TV, 43,000 followers, I think it's on. It's like a boxing page on Instagram.
Bosh.
He was growing it, and then he said, "Do you want to be a part of it?" Because he's got Brub Life, he's got so many other channels, events.
Is this
He
Brum
can't-
Life, is it?
Yeah,
Yes,
So
for anyone who doesn't understand both of our accents, actually, but Brum Life, we're saying,
Yeah.
because like if you listen to one of us speak fast, you'll miss it.
But yeah, so he just called me up and said, I want to do a charity match. I haven't decided anything about it. I just want to do a charity match. I think you'll be the perfect person to do it. Then I was like, yeah, I've been looking at doing it. I didn't know who to do it with, blah, 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 blah. It just all fell together. And then within 2 weeks, we had location, time, a whole squad. Not the other squad, but still had a lot of players as well. We had quite a few things in place within a couple of weeks already. And yeah, it's been a couple of weeks since that. We've only had a month and a half to actually do it. It's in 2 weeks.
Whoa.
But yeah, we've got subs, 2 squads. We're looking on managers, but that isn't a rush.
Right.
We've got a boxing machine that's going to be there sorted. We've got food vendors. We've actually got an ice cream van with a DJ inside, and you can have a mic and rap out of that. Like, we got so many things in place, and that come about just from him. So I want to say thanks to him as well, because the amount of opportunities he's gave me, and he probably will give me in the future as well.
That's good, isn't it? That's cool. Yeah. Like when you start like putting on events again. I keep harping on about your age, but like to put on events, like a lot of people that are in their 30s talk about it and never end up doing it. Is that another angle you want to go down? You want to put on your own boxing shows and stuff going forward?
Yeah, I was speaking about it earlier. I don't know if I actually want to be. Well, I don't want to be a promoter, but with like just little events, maybe even those evenings where you get like a boxing legend, a football legend.
Right. Like an after dinner
them.
sort of speaking thing.
Yeah. Because I like organising stuff. It sounds weird because it is stress as well, but yeah, I'd say evenings like that, or just little events.
But it's a good thing to do for a living, I think, isn't it? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, obviously, like everyone wants to do something they like for a living, but if you're doing something that is literally like, from what you're saying, you don't want to be promoting stuff like that. You know what lane you're in. Do you know what I mean? Like, and I touched on it a little bit with myself. Like, I realised pretty quickly when I was invited to an event and like they said, oh, you can do interviews and stuff. I did about 3 interviews. I did about 1.5 really, let's be honest. But I was like, this ain't for me. Do you know what I mean? I just don't, it doesn't jive with me. But if you know that, I think it's okay, innit? Like sitting here chatting to you, like how good's this? This is easy, innit? We're sitting here, we've got pizzas on the go. Like, I'd sit here and have the same conversation if that weren't on. You know what I mean? So it's good. But like with the shows that you go to, are you sort of consciously looking at things and going, I'd do that different, I'd do that better, I could do this, I could do that?
Not really. There's always obviously things I could do better. Even I'd never say anyone does anything in their job perfect, but yeah, there's always things I could do better, but I never really be harsh on myself about it. Just improve a bit, but yeah, each interview I'd say improve. Like nice. After this, I'll improve.
I think it's mad that you're in this so deep and you don't have a martial arts background yourself. But we, again, back to the car journey here, because we got stuck in traffic, fucking nightmare, guys, by the way. We should have done the podcast in the car and just spun her back round, gone for a Mackie D's drive-through or something. But you're like in a situation where you're becoming the guy before you're sort of the guy, if that makes sense. Do you know what I mean? Because everyone on the scene sort of knows who you are and whatnot. But if you stepped out of that a little bit and sort of went into like a sit-down environment like we are now, right? Is that like a? I guess it's not. You've already answered it. I guess in a certain way, you're Louie the Reporter, right? So when you go like into these environments and things, you speak to people, you interview them, you start chatting away. And it seems to me, you tell me, it's very kind of like, I'm just me, I'll just chat. Is that kind of where it's going and what you want to stay with?
Yeah, that's what I prefer, unless it's like a post-fight interview where it's just been a knockout. Yeah. Other than that, it's more just a chat, like a normal chat. Like, I'd rather that than having intense interviews where like things like that. But yeah, I was actually going to do a podcast myself, a virtual one.
Gotcha.
But at the time, it was just too early, and that was when everyone was making them as well.
I find that hard as well, the virtual thing. Goes back a little bit to like I said about the interview thing, like personality doesn't jive with it. I need you there, do you know what I mean? I need to sit and just have a chat like I was. If it's on a screen, I go, oh, hi, Louie, what's going on today? I just feel like it doesn't, do you know what I mean? But the reason I asked you before I asked the question, and I kind of went round a bit, about martial arts background, is it something you want to get into yourself? Do you want to start training? Do you want to start doing things like that?
I'll definitely start training. Even if I never have a fight, I'll still train. I do want to have a fight next year.
Ooh,
definitely.
Boxing or something else?
No, boxing.
Boxing, yeah.
If I was going to have any fight ever, boxing, definitely. Any boxing. I'd probably say late next year if I was.
By which point you'll be what, 16, 17?
Yeah, no, I'll be 16.
Still 16. What year was you born?
2010.
2010. Fuck's sake, guys. Come on, man. 2010.
But yeah, probably, I'm looking at the moment, Speed Star or actually Right to Fight.
Right to Fight. Right to fight seems like a logical one, right? You're very well in deep there.
Or EBO, actually.
I gotcha.
They're good.
Who's
good
EBO? I
promotion.
haven't heard of them before.
Essex Boxing Organisation.
Okay, cool. Where are they based?
Tommy Jacobs.
Bad joke, guys. Sorry, dad joke. But they, from going forward with this sort of like misfits and stuff like that, do you have sort of like certain deals with them, or you're not exclusive to anyone, right? You can do what you like.
No, so there is interviews out there. This is the point I want to get to where they get emailed or even a phone call to go there early. Priority to interviews, like more priority than all the other standard interviewers. That's me at the moment who just go there, but. No, just rock up and interview like everyone else.
That's cool, mate. Isn't it?
That's I want to get to the point where they're calling me to do it. You know, at IFL, that's...
Oh, big shout out to IFL and Big Cougar. Like, let's get that guy. Have you met him?
Yeah, I've met him.
Have you spoke to him?
He knows who I am,
Have you said, like, hey, Cougs, like, give us a mic?
No.
But yeah, you ain't like, sort of put it on him yet, but
no.
there's time.
I think I've watched every single one of their interviews for, like, a year.
Right.
Like, I have their notifications on again.
Are they still about as much? I don't feel like I see them as much. Maybe it's just me.
No, they're still about. They have, because obviously there's a team of them.
Right, because I saw Coogan recently at the USIC and stuff.
Yeah. So I think there's Joe, Andrew, I think the other guy's name is, or maybe one more person. But
right.
Yeah, there's a team of them. I see them about quite regularly, actually.
Yeah, I mean, they was. I mean, nowadays there's a lot of channels, and but going back a few years, they were like the channel, weren't they? Do you know what I mean? Again, maybe before your time, born in fucking 2010. Jesus Christ! But like, is there any fighters? Because I'll tell you why I'm asking you this. Because people ask me it and it drives me mad, so I'm going to pass it off to someone else. Who's your dream guest on the podcast? Shut up. Do you know what I mean? But like, have you got people in mind that you want to interview, or not so much?
Dream interview.
I know it's a bad question because when people ask me, I go, leave me alone. But I'm going to ask you anyway. Probably
I'm trying to think. Because before it was Eddie, just because I like his personality.
Right, okay. Yeah, I got you.
I've done Eddie. Probably at the moment, Terence Crawford, maybe.
Right, that's a good shout because he's fighting obviously soon. He's got a massive fight, and I've asked a few people this. Have you got much of an opinion on the fight? Canelo, by the way, in case anyone's been living under a rock.
No, not really. Obviously, I'm going to watch it, but
yeah.
I actually don't have a prediction. Like I'm in the middle.
It's a hard one, I think, to predict. I'll go back and forward on this. I mean, if you put a gun to my head, I think I'd say Canelo because I think the bigger man eventually will get to him. But it's a tough fight to call, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? Like Terence Crawford he can box, that boy. You know what I mean? He's good. So
I have a quick question for you, actually. Can you do your Mount Rushmore of heavyweight fighters?
Heavyweight boxers.
There's a lot of debate over Usyk, Tyson, and Muhammad Ali, and obviously I think it's clear, but I want to hear your first.
So we're talking just boxers, right?
Yeah,
so
heavyweight fighters, 4 fighters.
So here's the thing, right? So Mount Rushmore, from what I understand about it, right, is there's an element of like there's an element of certain people that have done certain standout things and whatnot. So I'll answer it in that kind of way. I think you got to go, if you're going to go right Mount Rushmore, you got to go back to like, it's hard because the early days you're missing someone out, but I'll probably go Jack Johnson. So you know who Jack Johnson is? First black heavyweight champion of the world, and he fought in a time when it was obviously a very racist world and whatnot, and I think he had 3 white wives and was like a big character. So he's famous for he's famous for being heavyweight champion of the world. One of the famous things he did is a better way of saying it. He was caught speeding in his car by police and whatnot, and they pulled him over, and they said, you're speeding, it's a £50 fine. So he gets out $100, not pound, dollars, $50 fine. Gave him $100 and said, because I'm going to be coming at the same speed on the way back. Like, he was that kind of character, right? Like, taking a piss, yeah. But so I'd say him for one. Another one, I'd go Rocky Marciano because he was undefeated. So I've got Jack Johnson, Rocky Marciano. It's hard because I'm missing people out here, but Jack Johnson, Rocky Marciano, Mike Tyson, because I think in his prime was the best of all time, and the other one's obvious, right? You've got to go Muhammad Ali. It's tough because you're missing out modern ones, aren't you? You're missing out, like, your Usyks and whatnot. But 4's tough, isn't it? You put me on a spot there. 4's tough. But yeah, I think I'll go with them. Jack Johnson, Rocky Marciano, Muhammad Ali, Mike Tyson. I said Mike Tyson before Muhammad Ali, but Muhammad Ali obviously.
I saw one, and I'd say, I'm not copying, but I just think if I had one, it's this. So, 4, Rocky, 3, Usyk, 2, Mike, 1, Ali. And it's more, obviously, it's more modern because
that might be might be a good question too. You might do eras because I think that's quite hard to argue if you go more modern, right? That is pretty tough. Because someone asked me recently, I don't know if it was on here actually, but they asked me just in general, and like that's tough because you've got all the weight divisions. Like to get 4 is hard to answer, isn't it? But that's a good question. It's one of them ones that if you ask me that in half hour, I'll probably rethink it and go, I don't know. Do you know what I mean? Like it's hard, isn't it? But and also, let's be honest, like with the benefit of videos now and the modern guys, we can see, like, for example, Usyk, we can see every single second he's ever been in a boxing ring, as a pro anyway. Do you know what I mean? We can see the whole thing, so you can make a real sort of assessment of what he is, whereas like us pick Jack Johnson, there ain't a lot of tape on him, do you know what I mean? And again, one of the things that happened to him, because he was beating, I think it was Jim Jeffries, I might be wrong on that, but it was a certain white heavyweight champion who was giving him such a beating, they pulled the camera and they cut the camera off. So like you can't see the finish, even though like the finish is recorded, you know what happened. There's no actual camera of it because it's, they was like, we're not having this and bought it down, do you know what I mean? So it's hard, isn't it? Because even like Sugar Ray Robinson, everyone says Sugar Ray Robinson's the best pound for pound. The tapes are like, you can see his career, but the tapes ain't HD, are they? Do you know what I mean? It's not quite the same. Like I feel like if you watch, for example, who we saw the other night, Roy Jones Jr., you can see his career, do you know what I mean? You can see how great he was as it was happening versus a lot of these old historic greats. You kind of got to fill in the gaps a little bit, ain't you? So, I don't know, man.
I have one more question as well.
Go on.
What do you
Jesus, you're good at these questions, aren't you?
What do you think of people comparing Ali and Usyk?
It's tough, isn't it? It's a very, very hard comparison. I think actually, them two as an example is probably a better comparison than some other comparisons you hear because similar in size, they've both got a style that's
It's very basic, but when you do
that's the word, very basic. But like it's when I say basic, like you can see what they're doing, you just can't do anything about it type deal. Do you know what I mean? You can, from the outside, it's easy, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? You can see what's going on. It's not like
they've mastered it.
Yeah, it's not like for example, would be Floyd Mayweather. Again, of course, you can see what he's doing when you slow it down. But like at the time, he does things like with the shoulder arm moving. It's difficult. Whereas Ali, you can see his feet moving and him doing certain little aspects with his hands. Of course, it's not quite as clear cut as we're making it, but it's a good comparison. I mean, if you could put them in a time machine and watch them fight, it's a good fight. I always tend to go with the more modern fighter because they've got the benefit of hindsight of seeing. Do you know what I mean? They can see, but that doesn't mean they'd win. I think that's
technology now though as well.
Exactly, and I think that comparison is good because I think they're both 6'3", right? And they're both sort of similar natural weight. If anything, Usyk's probably bigger. Usyk is bigger, really, isn't he? Do you know what I mean? He's heavier. But what do you think? I'll turn it back on you. What do you think?
With at first, I thought it was crazy.
Right.
So obviously, Ali's like, go to anyone and they'll say, if you say who's the best boxer in ever, they'll probably say Muhammad Ali.
Right.
But it's starting to get more realistic. It's a hard one.
Because I'll tell you the thing with Ali is interesting when you say that because I think a lot of people just because of what he was and what he like how big he became, I think like people sort of just go Ali.
Yeah.
But they don't look at it like. He moved this way, this guy did this punch, correct, could have caught him here. Here's one thing that I don't think people talk about much, is Ali struggled with like Joe Frazier, right? Joe Frazier was a short, stocky fighter who pressured him. It's like, for me, I've said this before on here, and some people probably give me fucking pelters for this, but like, I personally think if he fought a prime Mike Tyson would have wrecked him. Just because I feel style-wise, do you know what I mean? And I feel like he had a tough time with it. And like, no one's going to convince me that Mike Tyson wasn't better than Joe Frazier. He was stronger, faster, more powerful. I just think like he was a nightmare for Ali. I shouldn't say smashed him, but you know what I'm saying? Like, I think it'd have definitely beat him. But people are going to go nuts on that one, aren't they? Oh, you don't know nothing. All right, cool, man, whatever. I'll see you on Misfits. But what do you think? Who do you think's like the greatest? Let's go a bit further. Who do you think's the greatest heavyweight champion of all time? Put you right on the spot, Mr. Young Man over there.
I'd still say Ali, but it's a very close. Because, as I said before, the actual style is not... I think in boxing, to be the best, you don't need to be this Ben Whittaker style or this... You know what I mean? You need to do the fundamentals and basic mastery. Just master that. And I think that's what Usyk does. Like, he doesn't do this special moves or anything like that, and he's beating everyone. So I'd say I say Ali, but a close Usyk.
Oh, really?
And then Mike Tyson.
And then Mike Tyson, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if it always changes. Every time I think about it, it just always, because there's Lennox Lewis as well.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting because, I've had this chat before on here as well about Lennox Lewis. So the three greats of that sort of era, they were different timings for me, but Lennox Lewis, Mike Tyson, Evander Holyfield, they obviously all fought each other. And if you look at it, Lennox Lewis beat the other two, Evander beat Mike, and Mike didn't beat either of them. But I would still think in their prime, Mike was the best out of them three. And Lennox was probably third, as crazy as that might sound, and people will definitely go nuts on that. But again, see your misfits. But they, I just think time-wise, you know what I mean? I think if you look at a late '80s version of Mike Tyson, it's hard to compare the rest of his career to that because he wasn't the same, you know. So it's easy to say Lennox beat him 13, 14, 15 years past his prime. Do you know what I mean? Like, even though they're similar in age, Lennox is actually older. Like, it doesn't work that way, you know what I mean? Like, if they'd have fought when Mike Tyson was 20 and Lennox was 21 or whatever, I don't think many people would pick against Tyson. So when do they fight? They missed each other in that sense to me. Does that make sense?
Yeah, of course. I have one more question. It feels like I'm interviewing you.
Go for it. That's what you do.
With the topic of obviously Mike Tyson and the heavyweight greats.
Yeah.
Obviously AJ isn't near that level, but he's still proved himself.
Yeah.
What do you think about him and Jake Paul having discussions? Because there is actually talks.
It's mental.
Like out there, Matchroom was in London the day Nikisa, Jake's
mate,
manager.
do you know what? I think it'll happen. I do think it will happen. As crazy as that. I mean, if you'd have asked me that say a bit longer. If you'd asked me that a month ago, I'd have thought you was absolutely mad. Like, don't be stupid. It's a publicity stunt. But I actually think that might happen, man. If you listen to people talk. Like, I was sitting here yesterday talking to Armstrong. Shout out Armstrong. Watch, check his episode will probably come out after this actually because we're going to put yours out before your charity event. So I'm giving away a bit of what happened in the episode. Never mind, tune in anyway. But Armstrong was talking about like the Jake Paul, and like Armstrong's a very clever guy, right? You sit and talk to him, and like Armstrong's one of them guys, a bit like yourself. I could sit there and talk to all day and just keep going and fight. I'd start talking about plants or something. I'm sure he's got an opinion that interests me. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, he's one of them. But he was talking about Jake Paul, and he was like, "Why not?" Like, in terms of Jake Paul, I was like, "You can't tell me Jake Paul's going to beat AJ. Why not?" I was like, come. But the way he worded it, I'm not doing it justice. He didn't just go, "Yeah," like as if like he thinks it. But he kind of talks in a certain way, and it makes you go, huh. And then you go, "No, don't be stupid." Like you bring yourself back to reality. But for a second, you go, like, "Mate, he's got a point there." But check out the episode when it comes out. But yeah, I think it'll happen, man. I do think it. I think it'll happen. I think it might happen. I wouldn't be surprised if it happens at Wembley, and it's a big, massive thing. What do you think?
I like. If it was in England, then Wembley, yeah. If it did happen.
Or Tottenham, maybe. I don't know.
I don't want it to happen, but I like.
You don't want it to happen?
Toma, AJ more.
Do you? Wow.
Yeah, because Turkey wants Usyk.
He wants to fight Usyk, yeah.
Toma. But no, I like him, AJ more, for some reason.
Yeah. We'll talk about that because I want to talk about him because I think he's great. I think he potentially is great. But do you think the Jake Paul, Anthony Joshua one will happen?
Yeah.
You do? Yeah, I do kind of think it happen. But if it does happen, I'm going to ask you now, how do you think it goes?
I'm going to say second round AJ stoppage.
I can't possibly...
Because first round, I don't think he's going to... Obviously, everyone thinks, which is true, AJ's a higher level than Jake, but I don't think he's going to fly in there. I think Jake will last until the second round, and then he's getting stopped.
I can't see any possible way other than an AJ knockout for that. There'd have to be something so crazy if that happened. Like, have you seen AJ up close?
No, I've actually never actually saw him.
Big man, like we've all been around, like you've been around heavyweights, haven't you? There's certain guys, like AJ's a big, like proper big man. If you're ever around him and see him, I've told this on here before, so I'll gloss through it properly. I was in an amateur boxing gym. We wasn't at the same club. We was at different clubs. Clubs used to spar sometimes. When I was 18, he's a year older than me. He was 19. And you know, like the first time you see him, it's like, fucking hell, that's a specimen and a half. Like, how's that only a year older than me, sort of thing. But you know, he's a proper big man. Listen, people knock AJ a lot, don't they? But firstly, they don't know what they're looking at, but also, like, look at what he's done with his career. Do you know what I mean? Olympic gold medalist, first ever heavyweight to be Olympic gold medalist from Great Britain to win. The only person that beat him in the whole of boxing in England was James DeGale. Was the first gold medalist to go on and win a world title from Great Britain. And
actually, AJ, I watched it back the other day. I think it was round 9 in the Usyk fight. I think AJ got the closest to beating Usyk as well.
I do. And here's the thing. It's an interesting point you just brought up there because, you know, people say, like, Usyk in the rematch, he always beats him better than he did the second time. He didn't beat AJ better the second time. AJ, I thought, did better the second time. I thought it was closer the second time than the first time. Usyk, I think, won both times, for sure. But the second time, I think AJ had his moments, you know what I mean? The problem with it now, where he got knocked out so viciously against Dubois, people just go, oh, he's no good. And it's not true, do you know what I mean? The reality is this. When AJ I think he'd been floored 3 times. Now, people want to talk about the bad technique of the uppercut. Okay, cool, tough guy. You get in there and do it for one. Do you know what I mean? But secondly, it's like, he got knocked down and he was coming at him like a dog. Now, I'm not mentioning any names, but there's other certain heavyweights that fight people that get called into question for quitting.
Yeah.
There's none of that in him in that fight, was there? Do you know what I mean? People will go, oh, the Andy Ruiz. Listen, look at what he did in that Dubois fight. He was getting flattened, but he kept coming, and I think that deserves major respect. But to get back to your question, the Italma versus Joshua, I think that's a mad fight. I don't think that'll happen because I think AJ would look at that as risk and reward. Like, what's he getting from beating him? Do you see what I mean?
True, yeah.
I don't think it'd happen, but I'd love to see it happen. And I'm real high on that Italma kid. Like, I think he's the real deal. I think he will be.
I think he's getting rushed into it too.
I don't want to see him fight
Dillian.
I think it's a mad fight, a really interesting fight, because Dillian White's as tough as any man that's ever lived, right, in terms of toughness. It's a great fight, I think, because they're at different stages of their career. This is like, if Dillian White is at his very best that he's ever been, if you think whatever fight you want to put him in where he was at his best, whether you want to say like the Chisoras or like Joseph Parker, whenever you think personally, I'd fancy that to beat Italma at this stage, right? But because I say this stage, I think if you left that another year or two, not so much. So do you see where I'm coming from? It depends where they're both at, but I think it's a good fight. What do you think?
Yeah, no. Dillian Italma.
Dillian Italma.
I don't think it's a good fight at the moment.
Who do you think wins?
It's hard because I don't think it's a good fight because I think Italma hasn't got the experience yet. So I'd still say Dillian.
Would you? Yeah. I think it's a good point. Yeah. I think you make a good point now. I do, because I think if he passes this, though, let's just say for argument's sake, not that I think it will happen necessarily. I think it could. But let's just say Italma comes out and does what he does, like against the big Australian. I forget his name. Do you remember I'm talking? You know what I'm talking about. I forget the guy's name.
He knocked him out.
Sparked him, right? I go like, imagine if, just say he did that to Dillian White. I mean, then it's like.
I still don't think he should fight Usyk though.
No,
because Turkey wants that now, and it's like, well, I think he said, to be fair, after he beats Dillian, but not yet. No.
If he beats Dillian, how about Daniel Dubois?
Yeah.
Banger versus banger. Someone's going out, isn't they? Do you know what I mean?
Because I saw, it was Dave Allen. He was saying.
McKinney was the Australian's name. Sorry.
Yeah, Dave Allen was saying Dubois should retire, which is, I think, just ludicrous. But yeah, I think Dubois should go back in camp with Don.
He's got to assess a lot, I think. I think he's got to look inside himself for certain things, because there's an issue there. I don't think he quit in this one necessarily. But I think that there's an issue there, right? He was like going back to AJ. AJ, when he was getting flattened by Dubois, he kept getting up and had to be put out, spark out. I always look at sort of Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder, because both of them were like that. They had to be put out. You know, Tyson Fury kept getting up, Deontay Wilder kept getting up till he couldn't. Dubois hasn't got that in him. Doesn't necessarily mean he quit, but there's levels to quitting to me. Do you know what I mean? Like, he was conscious, he was looking at the ref and he watched him count 10 and then walk back to his corner. That's an issue for me. Like, if you're going to be heavyweight champion of the world, you can't have that in you, to me. That's not right, you know what I mean? You can't do that. So he's definitely got, I think he can fix it, but I think he's got to change some things, you know? It's easy, and it's easy for people to point to, he's like, he had a party on the day and like he's too close to his dad and all this kind of. They all might be true, it might not be irrelevant. Do you know what I mean? Because a lot of people are saying he did that in the AJ fight and it worked out great. So it depends on his personality, to me. But he's definitely got to change something, I think. Do you know what I mean? Do you agree?
Yeah, there's loads of little things. One of them's not working.
Something's up.
Because as you said about the party, like, that could be it, but he had it against AJ, it's completely fine.
But here's the thing as well with the party, I haven't heard anyone say this, but I've said it on here before, and it just a thought that came into my mind, is like, his dad might have looked at that as like he needed it, because like he's fighting Usyk at Wembley in front of fucking nearly 100,000 people.
Yeah.
We don't know what he was like. He might have been, I'm not saying he was, but he might have been at home like fucking like,
Yeah.
and it might have been like, all right, we got to do something to liven him up. So it could have been a positive thing. He weren't beating Usyk that night, regardless. Do you know what I mean? Usyk's on another level. Usyk beat him. Like, did you watch the fight, right? To me, it was like, it wasn't a close fight. I've heard Frank Warren say it was, you know, he had his moments and stuff like that. And I understand where he's come from, his promoter and whatever. But to me, that was not a close fight. There was not a single moment of that fight. Maybe take that back. There was a little exchange in the second round where I thought there was little good moments for Dubois. But other than that, I go like, it was a complete domination to me. Do you know what I mean? Complete like masterclass from Usyk. Do you see where I'm coming from? But we've gone off topic with the Atalma fight, right? But like Atalma versus whoever, I'm interested in. I'll watch it, and I think he'd give a good fight now. Even though I agree, I don't want to see him fight Usyk yet because I think it could spoil what could be potential down the road. But I do think when Usyk retires, I think he's the next guy.
Yeah.
I think he'll be. You never know, right? It's early stages, but for 20 years old. Again, you listen to him speak, you think he was 30, right, for one. But I think he's the next great heavyweight to me.
Yeah, this is a bold claim, but I'd even say if Usyk retired now, I would be shocked. Right. Because there's obviously Ukraine, there's so much things going on there. Yep. He's mentioned before about going back to them. Obviously, is it Joe Parker now?
Mm-hmm. Joe Parker's next, apparently.
Who's next, but let that get out of the way. Get it out of the way and you'll see that Usyk's just on another level. I don't think no one's going to beat him for the next 10 years.
Wow. 10 years?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, yeah.
So,
I mean,
no. That's, I think, 5 years. Yeah. 10 years, yeah. Because of his age, he'll get to the point. I mean, I might be completely wrong, but I think even him now, he's just so, like, lethal.
So good.
But, yeah, even Leo Atang, he's also like a Toma. I think Leo, Moses, and Joe will be the future of boxing.
Yep. Okay.
Like the AJ, Fury, and Usyk now.
Do you know what? I can see what you're saying there, but do you know what I could see, which I think probably would happen more than that. I think Atalma might be the guy that just reigns. You know?
Yeah, true, yeah.
He could be that guy. I think he's so good when you watch him, and for a kid that age, you know what I mean? He's not a kid, he's a young man, right? But it's so young to be a heavyweight. The only thing, but we've seen it a million times with other fighters where it gets too much, right? And it's not the boxing that lets them down. It does eventually, but because their life outside's chaos. Now, I think the world's a bit different now, and like they have people helping with that shit, right? Like, again, going back to a young Mike Tyson, when he was crazy, he was just crazy. Like, people was just more getting out of the way, right? I mean, I'm sure you've seen the interview with the bodyguard of Mike Tyson. Have you seen this one? Do you know what I'm talking about? When they say to him about, for anyone who hasn't seen it, the guy's sitting there, he's like a slick back hair, like cool dude. And they say to him, what was it like bodyguarding Mike Tyson in the late 80s? Must have been the easiest job in the world, right? And he was like, bro, we weren't there to protect Mike from the crowd. We was there to protect the crowd from Mike. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think them days are gone a bit, aren't they? Like, people have looked over after better. So, I can't, you know, it doesn't seem like he's the sort of guy that would go out and party and go crazy anyway, Talma. But, like, I think if he keeps it together, I think it's going to be tough to beat him if he gets through that development stage of, like, getting past not fighting it too early. Do you know what I mean? Like, Dylan White's a big test. Do you know what I mean? But don't go from Dylan White to Usyk. But then at the same time, listen, who am I to say don't go from that if he's getting offered 50 million by Turkey Al Sheikh to go, fight Usyk and have a chance, right? Well, why not roll the dice? Because, of course, he'd do it, right? What's he going to go, no, I'm not going to fight him. Yeah, of course he's going to take it. But if Usyk retires, I think, mate, the whole landscape changed. We've seen it before, haven't we? When great champions of a certain weight division retire, it leaves like a void, doesn't it? So it leaves like the 5 or 6 sort of people that are at the top that have got the. I was going to say got the chance, but chance makes it sound like it's luck. I don't mean it that way. Whereas it's like they've got the chance to take that throne over, haven't they? You know? And I think when the belts get splintered and separated, which is another point we can talk about with the Saudis, because I think they're going to sort of unify that a lot more, and the unification thing sounds good. But if they splinter, there'll be 4 heavyweight champions for a period, or 5 even, depending on who you count, right? So you could potentially have Talma, I don't know, Daniel Dubois, whoever else, all be champions and have to fight each other. But here's the thing, because one before we move on and forget about him is Derek Chisora.
Yeah.
Derek Chisora's looming. I think he's had 49 fights and he wants his 50th, doesn't he? Like, he gave Usyk his toughest fight, probably, right? Now, I know people have their own opinions on that, but part of me goes, fuck, I want to see Del Boy have one more. He's War now, and he was Del Boy back in the day. War Chisora. I'd like to see him have one more chance. Why not? And roll the dice.
I don't know. I just think Usyk smashes him.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't say too old because look at Usyk.
Right.
But I think he's obviously aged more than Usyk in terms of his.
But I tell you why I say that. Firstly, because I'd love to see Derek Chisora have a world title before he retired. Because I've said this before on here as well. Is that he's a proper fighter, like a fighter to the core. He's one of them cut from that cloth. You've got to stick him completely out for him to stop. And I don't think there'd ever be someone's name they'd mention and you go, I won't fight him. I think he'd fight anyone. So that style, I think, not just style physically of how he fights, I mean in here, I think that it's probably the best chance to beat Usyk. Not that I think he'd beat him. Not that I'm saying I think he'd beat him. But can you see the angle I'm coming from? I think why not? Let Crazy War Chisora get in there one more time and rumble it. I'd rather see that than Joseph Parker, to be fair.
Really?
Only because I think Usyk beats Joseph Parker. I think he beats Chisora too, don't hear me wrong. But I think the Joseph Parker one's a bit more of a linear fight in that sense, if that makes sense. Whereas I think Del Boy's going to get up on his chest and sort of make it messy and things can happen.
More into a scrap than an actual fight.
Yeah. Well, I tell you one, not now I don't think he'd beat him, but I've said this before. I feel in his prime, Deontay Wilder might have beat Usyk because I feel like he could have landed on him. And if he didn't,
if he landed on him, then he's gone.
It's over. And I think he could have done that in his prime, not now, but. Do you know what I'm saying? A few years ago, if he'd have fought Usyk, like the time he fought Tyson Fury, maybe the third time, we'll never know. It's over. Like, you know what I mean? We'll never know because, and we keep going round. I keep taking it away from the original question here. But Wilder versus Joshua is another one that's still dangling out there now. Do you think that'll happen?
I don't think it will happen.
I don't now. I hope it don't as well, to be honest with you, because I feel like Joshua might be past his prime. I don't know. He just had a bad performance against Dubois, right? But he's talking about retirement, from what I understand, right? So maybe he's mentally checking out a little bit. But I think Wilder's way past his prime, and I don't want to see him get a beating. Do you see where I'm coming from? I don't want.
So if he gets knocked out, he's done. But at the moment, he's at a good position where he can pick and choose. Where if he retires, then
and I think you earn that, right? I think you get to a certain stage in your career when you've achieved so much that you should have the right to sort of. Maybe not pick and choose, but you know what I mean? Navigate your career in a way where it's like you can angle it up. You haven't always got to take the toughest fight because you've earned that right. I think there's something to that too. But when we go like the other end of the spectrum, is like you've got the Atalmas of the world, who's obviously at the complete other end. He hasn't rose yet to where he like them. I think he's going to be great, right? I think he could be. But again, I'm talking around in circles here. But he could, to your point, really, if he fights Usyk too early. You could derail that, couldn't you? And then, if let's just say, for argument's sake, I'm not saying he would, but let's say he fought Usyk and got completely bamboozled and stopped. That changes things, doesn't it? You're not the Terminator sort of invincible kid anymore.
Yeah.
What's your next fight look like? But regardless,
I mean, that's what you should build up.
Yeah, exactly. Let's go back a step. What do you think Atalma should be doing? Like, he's got Dylan White. Let's just say, argument's sake, I'm not saying he'll beat Dylan. I think Dylan's tremendous, but. Let's just say, argument's sake, we're talking about Atalma. He gets past Dylan White. What do you think's like the logical next one for him?
After Dylan, I think he should. I don't think he should go straight into a fight because he needs to realise that I am potentially going to be the best. You know what I mean? The best heavyweight. So I think he should take 5-6 months, and then look into. I don't think Usyk straight away. I think maybe, as you said, Joe Parker, even Dubois. That would be a massive fight.
I think Joshua, like you said originally, I think that's a good fight. You get past.
I think they're obviously it's different in boxing. I think they're mates though, like as in.
Yeah, but how matey are they if Big Turkey drops a 50 on the table?
True. Yeah. I like the Dubois fight more.
Do you?
Yeah, I like that more than AJ.
I think that'd be a good fight. I think that'd be a good fight. It's a banger of a fight. Here's a question for you. I'll put you on the spot with this one because you might like interview people and whatnot. But do you see Dubois as a legit? He's been a real heavyweight champion of the world.
No.
No, I don't. I personally don't. Because the way that belt came about. Because it was Usyk's. He lost to Usyk twice. I don't think so. But it's irrelevant now. Because
can't imagine the position he would be in though if he beat Usyk. That's crazy.
Crazy. Well, I was going to say, the first fight's a little bit irrelevant now because of what Usyk did to him the second time. Not even close. But was that a low blow the first time, you think? You've probably been asked this
No.
7 million times.
No.
I don't think so. I think it was a legit. We're in sync a lot today.
When you watch it back, it was on the line.
Yeah.
And even though it was low on the line,
Yeah. Well, here's my thing with it. When I say low blow,
he was never holding his
right.
that area.
Well,
as
when
well.
I say low blow, right, it's a tricky bit. If you're talking by the law of the game, maybe it was low, maybe it wasn't, but it didn't hit him in the nuts, did it? Do you know what I mean? So I go. But then again, the other side of that, and I've said this before, it's like, listen, I think if the ref had started counting, Usyk would have got up. So we'll never know. It's irrelevant.
Right, 6 minutes though. So
yeah, right.
I know he took it to his advantage, but
yeah.
I'd
I'm sure it hurt.
Yeah.
I'm sure it hurt like crazy. But I think if the ref had gone 1, 2 instead of giving him time, I do think Usyk would have got up. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's just the fact that if he was holding that area, then potentially, even if he was faking it, if he was holding that area, I would have said probably just below. But the fact that he just went down as if it was a body shot, and you say about it getting up as well, though, 6 minutes. If he used it to his advantage, surely still, I'd say a minute of that was real.
But here's the thing, right? Justice to me was done that night, and the reason why is like, you know what I said about Dubois, about the quitting thing on this time, and how it's not a quit, and how I think he quit the first time.
Yeah.
The first Usyk fight, I do think that's a quit. I think you went down. And listen, I don't like to say that, and I don't think it's right for people necessarily to say it, but that to me that's different. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, he had a choice there, and he decided no more for me. So that shouldn't have been heavyweight champion of the world at the time. Do you see where I'm coming from? Where it's a bit like, quit there, so justice be done. Whatever you believe in the universe or whatever. I think it came round and it all worked out. And obviously the second fight wasn't close. Yeah. But I don't know if you answered. What's next for Atalma? Did you answer? Oh, you said Dubois, didn't you? You did say Dubois, so we got onto this chat.
If he beats Dillian, though, if he doesn't, then it's a tricky one to call if he doesn't, because he's getting bigged up like he's this massive super kid, and then if he gets beat with Dillian, obviously it's a hard fight, but then he has to go back and
it's a tough fight. Physically it's a tough fight, but it's also a tough position to be in, isn't it? Because, like, listen, if you win, on the positive end, there's not too much further to go up the ladder to get to these elite guys, right? You're there. So if he loses, it's obviously like, Jesus Christ, it's back to the drawing board now, isn't it? But yeah, I mean, I can see your point on that, but I think it'll be a good fight. Do you think the fight itself will be a good fight?
It'll be a good fight.
Do you think he wins?
It's over.
Yeah. You don't? Oh wow, you think Dylan beats him?
Decision.
Oh, do you? Oh no, like a boring decision and kill everyone, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I feel like they're on the same wavelength in terms of they can take a shot and also give a shot, but I don't think anyone's going down. With the guys that Thomas fought, I feel like, I don't know, they just went down too easy. I'm not saying they faked it, because whenever Thomas got power and he, you know what I mean, he's explosive, but I just feel like Dillian's a different breed of a fighter, and he might get knocked down or wobbled, but he's not getting knocked out, and he's
another one of that category, like the others I mentioned before, that you literally, you would have to put that man out for him to stop. He ain't stopping, you know what I mean? He's that guy for sure. So it's like, yeah, I can see your point. I wouldn't be overly surprised if Dillian, stuck it on him and got rid of him either. Do you know what I mean? Because we haven't seen that yet. Because Dillian Whyte, I think most people would agree, is definitely the best guy he's fought by far. Do you know what I mean? So it's tricky in there, isn't it? Heavyweight boxing as well. It's tricky. I personally, I mean, if he comes through it, I hope he goes. I'd like to see it. I'd like to see him go on and be that great heavyweight.
I want him to win, but...
Do you know what I mean? I'd like to see him go on and be that great heavyweight. And it's not because of Dylan. I love watching Dylan Whyte fight too. But if Dylan Whyte wins, I don't think there's a clear way for him to suddenly become the top heavyweight. Do you see what I'm saying? Whereas if Atalma wins, I mean, I can't see it have more than 2 fights maximum before he fights for the heavyweight title, right? How could you, you can't avoid it, right? There's not enough more rungs of the ladder to go up to get there.
It's weird how there isn't more fighters to really...
But here's the thing, it's with heavyweight, right? Because, like, I think there's not that many people that are that big that can fight that well. Do you know what I mean? There's not. Like, there's a lot of big men, but it doesn't mean they can fight, right? When you start seeing, I've said this before about the amateurs, like when you watch, like, because I was, again, similar age, watching AJ go through, and Joe Joyce, a clubmate of mine, like they're like, Joe Joyce is older than me, by the way. Sorry, Joe. But like, as you start going from the beginning of where, for example, we call it a normal sized man, but I mean anyone below the heavyweight division, really. there's a lot of people for you to fight, and everyone's making weight, which means the vast majority are in shape at that weight. Do you know what I mean? They're ready to go and they're fighting. And if they've been put out by an amateur club, they've got their own free card, blah, blah, blah. They're close matches. Whereas someone like Joshua, who's blessed to have been born in a body like that, some of the guys he's fighting ain't. Do you know what I mean? They're not like that. So they happen to weigh 17 stone. So they look at it and they go, I'm never going to get down, where they could if they got in shape. Do you see what I mean? But they're just undersized, overweight people that are fighting at heavyweight. They're not real heavyweights. So it's not a knock, but it's more like you can get rid of them quick. Another knockout. And then you get to a certain level where it's like, oh, now it's someone else like that. And then you can run into trouble. Also, look, listen, Joshua was undefeated heavyweight champion of the world at one point, right? 1 point, and then won it back after when he lost. But he had to sort of almost learn on the job. Do you see what I mean? Whereas, like, now you're already there. There's no sort of stepping back, is there? Whereas if you're, for example, a middleweight, do you see where I'm coming from? Like, you've always had them tough tests because it's like everyone's ready to rock and roll. Everyone's the right size for the most part. You get an exception, you know, a little tubby bloke that wants to fight at middleweight when he should be a flyweight, which is a different story. But like the big guys, it's almost a division on its own, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? So that's hard because people rise quick. Like Moses Atalma sort of came out of nowhere, right? And they were talking about him beating Mike Tyson's record. I think he's aged out of that already, isn't he? He can't beat Mike Tyson's record now, but he could be pretty close, couldn't he? And I think he will get the heavyweight belt. I don't know what the original point was there. I kind of went on a bit of a rant, didn't I? But he's, I want to see him fight. But let's go south of the heavyweight division for a second. Like, obviously we've got the Crawford-Canelo fight coming and whatnot. But who do you think sort of like who's your go-to watching in lighter divisions, or are you not too clued up?
I watch it occasionally.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say like that's what I focus on in pro. Because obviously I only moved to pro, I'd say like 3-4 months ago. Like I was watching obviously the big fights, Fury, the big heavyweights. Occasionally I'd watch the purist pro boxing. That's what I want to be a purist where I actually watch it properly because I like boxing, so it just makes sense. In terms of lighter divisions, my favourite fighter so far, other than obviously heavyweight, is Galal Yafai. Okay. So in terms of lighter divisions, that's who I watch. Like Galal Yafai, Rodriguez, Bam, Nick Ball. So.
Well, okay, that's interesting. I didn't think you'd go there. I thought you might mention like Tank Davis or Terence Crawford. But
no.
Yeah, you're going to Galal Yafai. But we've like, do you watch other martial arts as well? We've touched on it a little bit, but do you watch UFC and stuff?
A bit of UFC, not much.
But you're not much of a fan. You're more of a boxing guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, because. And bare knuckle as well. You've done bare knuckle.
Yeah,
as well, right?
I've started to watch bare knuckle quite a lot now.
Oh, yeah, cool. Sorry, I was going to ask you earlier. I forgot about it. You said there's a show coming up, bare knuckle, that you're going to, right?
September 27th.
Which is what show?
Manchester, bare knuckle. Forgot what number it is, but
but this is not the Paulie Malignaggi Tyler Goodjohn fight.
No.
Because I think that one's in Bristol, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So the same organisation or different organisations? We sound like a couple of casuals here.
No,
don't we?
BKFC.
BKFC, same thing. So yeah, it's all kicking off now. Because I tell you one thing, I think I've said this on here before, but the one thing I really like about that is it's changing now actually. So I think I might have to rethink that. But I like the 5 2-minute rounds because when they fight, it's fast paced, isn't it? They're off and running, and it's obviously where more people are doing it now. It's evolving into more of its own sport. And people are fighting differently versus before they're just like having a boxing match without gloves. Do you know what I mean? Like there's a difference in there. Do you see where I'm coming from on that?
Yeah, because I went to my first bare knuckle show. I think it was last year, but then people weren't too clued up on it, and it was a 4-ounce glove show, and no one really knew about BKFC much, and just bare knuckle in general. That it was all like when they was doing bare knuckle shows as well. They were still calling it boxing. It was just boxing without gloves, as you said.
Right, yeah.
I feel like bare knuckles huge now, and it's just going to keep growing. I'd say it's going to grow to boxing level, as in like around the globe.
Yeah.
Which is real fighting as well. Yeah. Who doesn't love an actual fight?
Yeah.
Like,
well, I think the short rounds are good because the reason I brought that up also is like, not sprint, but you can go pretty fucking hard for 2 minutes, can't you? 5 times, and like. The fights are exciting, whereas like, listen, as much as we both love boxing, obviously, there are fights where you get to 6th round and you're like, fuck, do you know what I mean? They're picking and poking and moving one way, they're both at the same level, so they're cancelling each other out, And it's even for people like us that love it, that we've all been at shows where you're like, I'll go and get some water and I'll chill out for this fight. You know what I mean? And I missed this one. There might have been one on the USIC card. Won't mention names, but they're out there, aren't they? Whereas I don't think you can't do that in bare knuckle, can you? Because firstly, it's too short, but also the cuts and whatnot with the hands and the bare knuckle fighters I've spoke to. The biggest thing that it seems to be is hand trouble. You know, cuts on the face is a thing, but like if you're fighting, that's more of a thing you're not worried about unless the blood's coming in your eyes so much. But like if you've got a broken hand in round one, that's a tough 4.5 more rounds, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's just like, as I said, just real fighting. Obviously, we all love, well, not we all love, but boxing fans, we love to watch an actual boxing fight. Doesn't matter who it is, it's just boxing. But when it's like not, you know what I mean, not that good and it's just boring, as you said, go get a drink.
Yeah,
Whereas
right.
bare knuckle, I don't think you can actually zone out in the fight.
Nah.
There's always something happening, unless obviously they're not throwing, but even little shots, like, because it's bare knuckle, any little shot on the chin, you're out. Or, you know what I mean, you bruise or you cut. And
cuts are a big one, I think.
Yeah.
Cuts seem to be the big thing. Like, because Luke Rockholder, you mentioned earlier, he fought Mike Perry, right? I don't know if you've seen the fight. You know who Mike Perry is?
Yeah.
Like,
Mike
obviously
Perry,
fought Jake
legend.
Paul as well in a boxing match, which is different. But he's made for that, isn't he? He's born for that. And like Luke Rockhold was asked by the referee, do you want to continue? And he said, no. Do you know what I mean? And like Luke Rockhold's a fucking UFC champion in his day. I mean, I think he's probably past his prime now, but he's past his prime. But in his day, he was a serious, like top tier, like pound for pound level UFC fighter. And like, even for him, it was like, that's enough of that.
You should see the canvas after. I was at BKFC Birmingham,
Right.
Conatini main event against Danny Christie. You should see the canvas after a whole fight night.
I bet. Like a red canvas, it's all over the shop.
I was ringside as well, media, and like the blood was dripping on me while I was doing interviews from the
not
fighters.
Watch that, God, yeah. But like also like teeth and stuff. Like teeth's a big one, isn't it? Like people get cracked teeth and whatnot. But like I tell you what's interesting with the Darren Till Luke Rockhold fight. You was at the press conference. You said.
Yeah.
So Tony Ferguson was there as well, and who's he fighting? Remind me who he's fighting.
Salt Pappy.
Salt Pappy, right? So I don't know who the guy is, but he's like an influencer boxer. From
Yeah,
what I understand.
TikToker, influencer boxer.
And what's he like? Is he good?
Yeah, he's good. He was quite fat when he started,
Right.
and then his whole journey was he lost weight, went undefeated. He lost, and then now he's on a good run again. But like,
Who's he lose to?
Slim,
Okay,
and Slim,
I don't know
like, for you who know Slim, you know he's a good fighter. But
Right.
with Salt Pappy, obviously, you don't get influencer boxers who are actually properly good at boxing.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's the whole thing with influencer boxing. It's influencer boxing. It's not proper good 10 out of 10 tier boxing. But Salt is actually a good fighter. That's why they're matching up with him.
Right.
And yeah, it's going to be a good fight. It's not really a fight where I'd say Tony's going to do it because Salt's a good fighter as well.
Tough for Tony as well, and he's on an 8-fight losing streak. And for those, I know you're not a massive UFC fan, but for those who don't know, he was going to fight Khabib, right? They got scheduled to fight 5 times, fell out 5 times, fell out 4 times for various reasons. One time Khabib couldn't make weight, his kidneys failed, blah, blah. One time Tony fell over a cable. This is not joking, this is legit. Tore his knee. And we're talking like week of the fight, right? There was replacements, all kinds of... 4 times it fell out, and the 5th time, pandemic hit. So then that got cancelled, and then Tony Ferguson fought a man called Justin Gaethje and got beat. And then it was like, from that, he's lost 8 in a row. And he's just like completely fell off a cliff, you know? Like, it's a tough sport, isn't it?
He did say in the press conference, though, he's always wanted to box. And at the gym, obviously he's a UFC fighter, but he's been boxing. Like, he'd always go to boxing first instead of doing the grappling or the kicks and stuff like that. So I think he's still got experience boxing. It's not like a UFC fighter just coming from nowhere and
it's more the more concern is like he's just 8-fight losing streak. You know, he went from literally the guy. I personally thought Khabib would always beat him anyway, but like it was a great fight. That was the fight we had to see, and 5 times it fell out, and we never got to see it, right? But Khabib retired undefeated, and Tony left the UFC on an 8-fight losing streak, which is, listen, if you stay in the game too long, you're going to fall that way. But like for him fighting now, it's like. I don't like to see it, do you know what I mean? But it is what it is. Are you going to the fights?
Yeah, I'll be
When are
there.
they?
30th of August.
30th of August. Oof,
Yeah.
I'll have to try and look into that, man. I might have to try
it's
and
only
join
a couple
you.
of weeks.
Get me one of them Louie the Reporter hoodies and I'll come with you and we'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll try. Are you not on the Misfits mailing list? Have you not really covered any of them shows?
No, I haven't been to any of them. No,
Oh, okay.
I haven't been to any Misfits at all. But we talk off camera.
Because you're a
man.
UFC guy as well, though. Like,
Yeah, I love all this stuff, man. Listen, I'm like you said about the bare knuckle, like any form of combat, my ears perk up. Do you know what I mean? I like it all. I'm one of them. I don't like. I mean, there's obviously ones I like more than others, and like for. You know, UFC would always be, or MMA, I fucking sound like a proper casual there tonight, UFC, but MMA in general, but UFC is obviously the premier organisation that I'd watch the most. That's my favourite, but like, again, we've met at boxing events, like, you know, I like any combat, so definitely, if we can figure that out, mate, I'll be there with you. Where is the fight? You said you just told me.
Yeah, Manchester.
Manchester, right, yeah. I haven't got brain damage, guys, I just forgot, that's all it was. But mate, listen, this has been brilliant. I'm sure we'll do this again over the years.
Appreciate it, thank you.
And we'll stay in touch and whatnot. Before we finish, most important question of the day, which football team do you support?
Birmingham City.
They're playing the right colour anyway, mate. Top man, I appreciate you. I always finish with a fist up like this. Squeeze the neck. Boom! Boom.